Hey guys, in this video I show you how to install LED lights in your car. Mine is a 2003 Subaru Impreza and we're going to be running it, the installation inside the car and not connecting it from the battery terminal through the firewall. We're not doing any of that. It's going to be a clean installation, tapping one of the wires inside from the internal fuse box. Okay, I'm not an electrician. I don't claim to be any kind of wiring genius. I don't work in the industry. I've never done this before. I'm just doing this as an experiment basically. And if you guys think that I did it bad or it's you have a better way to do it, just write that in the comments, because it'll be good to see how other people are doing it. Alright, so I'm going to show, or I'm documenting my installation of my LED glow footwell lighting kit inside my Subaru Impreza. It's a non-turbo model. So the first thing I going to do is I want to see how much current this device draws. And how I'm going to do that is I'm testing it with a computer power supply that's supposed to provide 12 volts, which will simulate the 12 volts of the battery. So I'm taking the positive wire of the kit and I'm going to connect it to this connector here. This connector gives you 12 volts on the yellow line and the ground is the black line. So if I take the red wire and I connect it to the yellow line and the black and red wire connected to the black line, I should get power to this device. But I want to be able to see how much current this device is going to draw. I'm going to connect it in series with my multimeter set to amperes. I'll put it on a milliampere setting since I guess this thing probably wouldn't draw more than 1 amp. So this is what I will do. And what you want to do is you take the positive wire. I'm gonna have to set down the camera for this. So let me see how I could do that. Okay, should look great. So I'm going to take the black line and connect it to the black line on the power supply. I'm going to take the positive wire and just connect it to this positive terminal of my multimeter. Right, and then I connect this to the 12 volts line of the computer power supply. And then I take the black wire and I could just connect that anywhere to there. Now, so yeah, that should work. So now I'll just turn on my computer power supply and voila, it's on, right? I'm using this mode because when all the LEDs are on, that's when it's going to draw the most amount of current. So let's look at the multimeter, and it's about 250 milliamperes. So that's pretty much the maximum amount of current that this thing will draw. This is important because you don't want to blow your fuse. You want to make sure that you use a fuse that's fairly unused. We're gonna go inside the car because I'm not running wires from outside my car directly connected to the battery and coming inside and whatnot. I think that's ridiculous. So I'm going to, the next point of power inside your car is your internal fuse box, which is typically located around by the driver's side. It's normally under the dash and the driver's side of the car. There's a right-hand drive car because we're in Trinidad and Tobago. So normally you just pop this thing off, and the fuse box is right under here. Now what happens is that there's a number of circuits all connected through these fuses, so that if there's a short circuit on any of these circuits or any one of the devices, a large current will flow, and what will happen is these fuses will blow out to protect the battery and the rest of the car. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap one of these circuits, and what I did was I used the cigarette lighter circuit. You can tell which fuse is which by looking under the compartment that you took off. It should have basically a map of what fuses are for correspond to what each of these fuses correspond to, what circuits are powered through these fuses. So I really recommend using the cigarette lighter circuit, because well, in this one is a 20 amp fuse. It's a good sized fuse. As we found out earlier, the LEDs are only about 250 milliamperes, and that's really much smaller than 20 amps. Yeah? So my cigarette lighter is hardly ever, I don't use my cigarette lighter a whole lot. And this is also the power for the side mirrors, and you don't typically use that a whole lot either. So it's a good unused unused or underused circuit to tap the power for your LEDs. Some of these other circuits, you really don't want to use your AC. You really don't want to use your ignition circuit, because that's drawing a lot of current, and then and if that fuse blows, or something goes wrong with your LEDs, and it blows the fuse, you won't be able to start your car. Same thing with the SRS. You don't want to use these circuits. So I really recommend the same, whatever circuit is your cigarette lighter is on. I think that's a good circuit to use. The radio circuit, you can also use that, provided you don't have excessive current draw from your radio, and it's only a 15 amp circuit. So that's why I really recommend the cigarette lighter circuit. Okay, so we're going to go and check out the service manual to see which wire inside there we need to tap. Alright, so this is the service manual for my car. It's I got the 2002 version of it. The wiring is pretty much the same. I highly recommend you get the service manual if you're going to be doing any kind of work on your car. The service manual has everything that you should need, really. So, and I strongly recommend you consult your service manual before doing any work yourself on your car, particularly if you're not too mechanically or electrically inclined. So this is the wiring section of the service manual, and what we're going to be looking at is the power supply routing section. And from here it shows you the main fuse box outline. It shows you the fuse box. This is the fuse box inside the car, which we're going to be using and familiarizing ourselves with. First things first, I'd like to assume that you have a little bit of electrical understanding. You know that current flow is, you understand conventional current flow. Typically I use conventional current flow is typically what we will use, right? And so you understand that the current will typically flow from positive to negative, and so the red lines are typically a hot line, and that has a high voltage on it, and the black line is ground. Current flows from the red to the black. I understand that you know what series and parallel are. Even if you don't, try to read up a little bit on it before you try to tackle something like this. So we essentially looking for the cigarette lighter circuit. No, I really like this the service manual, because you can actually get a map out of what the connector looks like inside the car before you don't even have to go inside the car to see what you're looking for. This thing will actually tell you that the wire you're looking for is on a blue connector, and the color of the wire is a red with a blue stripe on it. This color code is actually what it tells you what color the wire is. Like RY will be like red with a yellow stripe on it, LY will be blue with a yellow stripe on it, RW will be red with a white stripe on it, and so on. So if you looked at the previous video, we saw that the cigarette lighter was powered through the number 4 fuse. You may not have noticed that, or you may have noticed that, but I took note of that, so I know it's powered through this here. Now what this diagram tells us is that, let's see if I can go up here a little bit. What this tells me is that when I put the key in, that these two, when I put the key in and I turn the key to ACC, if you notice when on the where you stick your key in, it has off, ACC, on, and then start or ignition, and those are different switches. These are these are called switched circuits. So when I turn the car on to ACC, it powers the ACC circuit, and if you look here, you follow this line down, you'll see that it actually powers the number 4 fuse, which is the cigarette lighter, the number 9 fuse, and the number 15. We're really concerned with the number 4 fuse, which is the 20 amp fuse, powering the cigarette lighter and the side mirrors, right? You can see here what's a nice, why I recommend the circuit as well, is because if it's in the off position, or if you take the keys out of the car, then the LEDs are no longer powered, so you don't have to manually turn off the LEDs. You don't have to worry about forgetting to leave it on, and then it draws too much, and then your battery dies or whatever. So this is a good circuit. Also, when the car is on or it's running, ACC is still powered, as you can see, so the LEDs will stay on. Now you need to so what we're looking for here is, as you can see, if you keep going down, you will see that the output from this fuse box is connected to a connector B6, and it's on a yellow wire with a red strip. And so how we interpret B6, if you look down a little bit, just a second. I'm trying to show you what this B6 means essentially. Right, so here we go. B corresponds with connector B271. So I can see here, if I go back down, back, where's that? Right, this is the diagram we were looking at before. Let's look for B271, which is this. So it's a blue connector. And so what this is saying essentially is that to tap this power, we'll get to our 12 volts power from a yellow wire with a red strip on it that will be connected to the internal fuse box. But it doesn't say that here, but this whole strip here is the there it is, fuse and relay box. And so that's connected to the internal fuse box. It'll be on a blue connector connected onto pin 6. So what we have to do now is basically just go in the car and take a look and see if we find a blue connector with a yellow and red, yellow wire with a red strip on it, and that will be our wire that we need to tap.